the big screen mainstream actors today in media history.
Well, so Doug, here's a question. How can you tell the difference between the real NFT and fake?
Welcome to the Tech School Podcast powered by DSDT. I'm Josh.
I'm just Carlos today.
We're going with Carlos.
Just Carlos.
Good call.
Just Carlos.
Carlos, how's it going, brother?
It's pretty good today.
Solid here
Pretty
at
good.
DSDT?
Yeah. I got to give a quick shout out.
Okay.
Shout out to my barber.
All right.
Shout out to my barber, Stefan the barber. He comes through every now and again to get a brother faded and cleaned up.
Yeah.
So I really want to give him a shout out because I'll tell you, I had a bad experience the last time I went to a barber shop.
Where? In what city?
I won't tell that story, but
it wasn't. Was it in Detroit?
Kind of, sort of. Ooh. I'm just saying. So I went to the barber shop, told the barber on my way, made the appointment and everything. I got there, and literally it was the Easter. It had to be 2020. Okay. So it's Easter, and I get there, and there's these three little bitty boys there to get a fade before me. And I'm like, okay, you just told me to show up. The chair is high. Let me get in. And he's like, man, I got to take care of him first because I told him to come early or whatever. So I sat there for 3 cuts before my own.
Ooh, so that was about 2 hours.
Man, that was way too long. And I just had it up to here with going to the barbershop. So, I did what I did and networked a little bit. And I reached out to a young man that I saw cutting on Instagram. And I said, listen, man, I need to get a barber that can come to me. And ever since then, rain, shine, sleet, snow, Stefan the barber comes to me. I'm just saying, I got to get that, brothers. One quick shout out. Thank you, Stefan.
Go for it. And one thing about barber appointments, it's almost like a business arrangement, a business meeting, if you will.
Absolutely.
Hairstylist, etc., where you make an appointment, you're expecting to stick with that appointment.
Absolutely.
Because you're scheduling it around your time that works for their time. Therefore, when you walk in, maybe have one customer, one client ahead of you. That's fine.
Yep,
totally fine.
I
but
agree.
once you get into 3 or 4,
right.
Well, you told me 4 p.m., not 8 p.m.
Listen. So does it matter? And I don't even know why we went down this rabbit hole, but does it matter the size of the head? Because I'm talking, these were some little bitty boys, right? And when I say little, they had to have been like maybe 5, 6, 7.
We'll say yes, so because they're 5, 6, 7 years old.
Right.
Therefore,
right.
Good to go.
He has to taper.
They don't even
up.
want to be there.
He has to taper them up as well as he's going to do me.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm sitting there and I'm fuming.
I will meet him halfway, with them being little kids.
Right.
Moving around and can't stay still.
Yeah.
Making it a little bit more difficult, prolonging the process.
Listen, man. To all of you guys that are standing on the ledge, listen to me. Where we at? Where these cameras at up in here? Listen, if you are and you're in the process of trying to figure out what you're going to do in regards to your fades and you're tired of going to the barbershop as I am, then you definitely want to kind of get somebody to come to you. Right?
How much does he charge you?
Oh, now y'all getting all off into my business.
Now
you're getting all off into my business.
In all fairness, there is a catch with barbers who come to you. It's definitely a convenience.
Right.
However, I'm sure there's a little bit of inflation, rightfully so, because they're coming directly to you.
He only charges me $60.
Oh, that's it?
$60, and he comes to me.
Oh, well, heck, you have barbers where you drive to the location,
$60.
the brick and mortar,
60.
and you're paying that much.
$60.
Oh, he's solid.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right. So again, Stefan the barber.
Stefan the barber. Rock solid.
Right.
That is solid.
So maybe we'll have to have him come on one day and taper up Josh. I'm just saying.
I have my own barber. T the barber over at Executive Cuts.
Oh, you go to T?
I go to T.
Okay. I used to go to Executive Cuts too.
Right on.
Right on Joseph's Compo.
Yep, in Jefferson.
Yeah, that's where the chief goes as well.
Indeed.
I must be in good company. Well, it used to be. I don't go there anymore. So, but yeah. it would be nice to maybe have T come on one day and give Josh a cut on air. What you guys think? I'm saying.
I'm okay with that. And you know, they have a podcast of their own too. So
Do they?
They do on the barber industry.
I never have heard it.
Okay.
And I would love to check it out. Love to check it out.
We'll converse about that.
Absolutely.
All right. How's the rest of the week going?
Man, it's about to be a long one. You know, in and out, got a lot of things going on around DSDT. We got new classes that are beginning on Monday.
Right on.
And so just in
That's
the process.
Monday the 19th?
Monday the 19th, we
Okay.
have a new round of classes. And for those that really don't understand how the DSDT classes work, we're not a semester-based institution, which means that every 30 days, they're about 28 days, we have new classes that begin. So that means you will have a new class in a program 12 times a year, right? So I know that for some, that's kind of expeditious, but a lot of the reason is because of the way the Department of Education as well as the VA wants the classes to be run. With a traditional clock hour-based institution, hours has to be 22 hours a week. Now, that's a lot. You know, you think if you're going to your universities and your junior colleges, at most times you may do 14 hours at most. We have you here for 22 hours. But at the same time, that means that you get a whole lot more information crammed into those short months, seven months being the longest of our programs, but you get all that much more information crammed into those 7 months, and you don't have to go and spend 2 years, 4 years at an institution in order to get an education to pursue that work opportunity.
Okay, so break that down as far as weekly. Are we talking 3-4 hour class periods several times a week? I'm just trying to break down the math a little bit.
3-4, listen, no,
Okay.
Apparently he doesn't know how this thing goes. So our classes run according to 3 time slots. The first time slot is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 4:20 p.m.
Gotcha.
Right? And then the second time slot is Thursday, Friday, Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4:20 p.m. And the evening class hours are Monday through Thursday from 4:30 until 9:55. So if you those 3 slots together, if you were to do the math, they equal out to 22 hours a week. So, you know, just choose your poison. And I know that a lot of times students will enroll and they think that they're going to have strictly an evening-based curriculum. It's not necessarily the case because some of the classes only run during Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You know, so you have to prepare yourself. One of the reasons that we even instituted having admissions interviews was so that we can gauge the commitment of the student that was going to be taking the classes.
You have to see what their lifestyle is.
You have to definitely make sure that they understand that this isn't something that you're just going to jump into and, okay, I don't like it. It's laborious. You know, it's a lot of work. You're going to school Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 4:20. Think about that. That's
a job.
That's a job. You know what I'm saying? That's work. I don't know about y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's a full-time job. And it's rightfully so, right? It's only for a short period of your life. Again, the longest program that we have is roughly about, I say 7, but it's actually 8 months because of the health and safety class that you have to take at the end. But 8 months, all you have to invest. And after that, it will change your life every time.
What are some of the new courses?
Well, we're going to be talking with one of the instructors for the digital marketing course today.
Okay.
That's the newest course that we have at DSDT. That's my baby, right? So not to get a lot into the history, but
We'll hold off on Eric until he comes on
Absolutely.
to get more into the courses.
Digital marketing. I believe that's a saving grace for so many of those that are creatives.
Okay.
I'm often talking about how the creatives are not considered in the conversations that you have when you're talking about technology. So much so that there's not an ONET code for the digital marketer. Right. So, and I know this because we're in the process of getting the program approved to be able to have residents of the city of Detroit enroll through Detroit at Work as well as through WIOA funding. And so because there's not an ONET code, which is for the Labor Department, we're having some issues with it. At the end of the day, these are the individuals I truly feel are not part of the conversations when you're talking about giving tech opportunities. You know, so we want to make sure that they have the training and they have the support that they need in order to have access to all the opportunities that the IT people are. And when I say IT, that we're talking about the information technology guys, those that want to get into the cybersecurities, and they start off with the entry level help desks or whatever the case may be. But definitively, I want those that are creatives like myself to have an opportunity, and that's simply by training them in everything that I feel is necessary. I kind of mapped out the program so that they would succeed and that they wouldn't have to, go and spend another 2 years in order to get the education to do what it is that they love to do. One is create, and two, simply just making sure that they have the tools to be able to get the opportunities that otherwise they wouldn't have. So.
Right on.
Yeah.
Catch any of the Lions?
Let's not start, man.
Okay.
Let's not start.
Had to ask you.
Are you serious?
I had to.
Are you
that was a hard pivot, but had to.
Somebody sent me a text, and it said it was the Sam Bernstein family. If you are still a Lions fan and looking for compensation, please call us.
Ooh.
I'm just saying, man. saying. Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah. They look good.
They played hard.
They did.
We
look
see
good.
grit. We definitely see grit.
Good. Yeah. Yeah.
But we'll have to keep pushing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, let's just hold off a few weeks before we dive in deep.
Yeah, you need to get to about week 5 or 6 before you really see a true identity.
Hey, but I'm not gonna lie. When I went to Philly a few weeks ago, I was draped in my Honolulu blue.
Now, what kind of reaction did you get?
I didn't get any reactions necessarily. I don't care. I'm going to rep Detroit, and I mean, how much more so, whether it be the Lions, the Tigers, or whatever. I don't care where they are in the standings. I'm saying that those are Detroit institutions.
Yes.
And regardless of how well they are doing or how well they're not, we're going to still ride out with them. It is what it is. And so I was glad to see that the crowd actually showed up for him. It was a sold out arena. That's beautiful.
Did you watch it at home or?
I watched some of the game at home. I did. Remember, I wanted to get out and do the tailgating, but I tell you, this weekend at the Harris's, oh man, we had the grandbabies. So
someone who's in the tech industry, if you will, I brought up the Lions for a reason. As far as watching a game now, I mean, just the different nuances you get. Just share your own candor when you look at a game now, like just the huddles, the audio, just the different things that are now at our luxury.
I look at it as if it's one of the greatest feats of technology that it is. You have the screens, the jumbotrons, and it's just like, wow. I'm looking for the day that they actually want to start flying drones around the arena. And I'm not talking about the wired boys.
Yes.
I'm talking about the wireless,
Okay.
because I truly believe that that's where we are. And I'll even go one step further. I'm looking for that first game inside of the metaverse myself. I'm just saying. I'm looking for the first football game inside of the metaverse. And I say that because one of the first experiences that I had with Meta's Horizon was that I went inside of a metaverse experience, and there was a football field that was created, right? So you could pick up the football and you could throw it down the field
and
to
it actually
someone.
felt like you were holding a football.
It didn't feel like you were holding a football, but it gave you the sensation of holding a football.
Okay.
Now there are devices right now, gloves, that you can purchase, and they actually give you the sensation of the feel, the touch. And so, but just for, the visual, having the experience of reaching down, grabbing something and throwing it, it was like, wow. So again, I am looking for that first metaverse professional football game that I'm sure is only a few years away. I'm just saying. That's my prediction, my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay, we'll have to keep everyone posted on that.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so Josh, today we want to bring on what I like to call a new session, right?
Yes,
and it's
a new member of the team.
We can call a new member, but today we're going to do an In the News session, and the In the News session is going to be done with a personality that I've been seeing for years now, and I really do like the way that she how can I say it? She conveys the information.
Okay.
Right. And I think her personality is just spot on. And I contacted her a few weeks ago, and I said, I would love to have you come on and just do some in the news segments with us. And she says, I'll be happy to. So why don't we give a round of applause and some time and attention to my and your good friend, Miss Amber Boone.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well, Amber. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So, Amber, tell the folks a little bit more about who you are. Before we get into all the news and all of that, let's learn a little bit more about Amber.
All right, so I consider myself a Renaissance woman. I am a doer of all things. I'm multi-passionate, meaning I have found a way to take the many things that I'm passionate about and turn them into my profession. The number one thing that I'm doing, and I've been doing for a decade, is social media, digital marketing, branding, all things kind of like online marketing and working with social media. I started this back before it was really a thing and before businesses fully understood the value that social could bring. And I've just been doing that ever since. I've freelanced my entire career, along with working for big corporations and traveling over to Europe and working and understanding like their brand and how it's different in Europe versus the United States. And so I'm still doing that, but also a number of other things. Like I run Helium Sports and Entertainment Marketing with my husband, where we work with college athletes, professional athletes to get NIL deals, which is another great passion of ours and very exciting. I am also, I would say, like a micro influencer. I guess. It's so weird to like consider myself that, but I guess that's what it is. I've had a few viral videos on TikTok, and I'm kind of building my brand there. And I did that because I've been, working with my clients and trying to get them to understand the value and importance of being on TikTok and creating a presence on TikTok. And I had to essentially lead by example, because everyone who's in business who should be on social is like, well, I don't have time. I don't have the resources. I don't feel like creating content. And I was the same way. I have been running multiple businesses. I don't have time to be on social like that. But in order to show them, I had to lead by example, and I did, and I am. So that's kind of where that is. See? But yeah, I like to do a lot of motivational speaking and things like that, and talk on branding. I mean, I do a number of things. Ordained minister. I marry people. And I
stop. Back up.
I do real estate.
Back up.
What did you say? You marry people?
Yeah, I'm an ordained minister, so I can officiate weddings.
What the?
I do officiate weddings. Yeah. It's just a random
multi-skilled.
Yeah, the multi-passionate Renaissance woman. I'm telling you. So I have my hands in all things. Like
So to date, how many couples would you say that you've married?
So I've only married 3, but I just became ordained. I'll say, I think it's at 2021, the end of 2020 or 2021. So it started as I saw a need, right? During COVID, everyone's weddings were being canceled. So people were wanting to just go to the courthouse, and then the courthouse was booked solid. So I saw a need for people wanting to do these weddings in their homes. And so I started doing that. But it's exciting because now I have like one booked in Atlanta, I have one booked in Florida. So I'm getting to do things all over the place. Just cool.
Fabulous.
I'm telling you, man, these creatives.
Yes.
I'm telling you. Yeah, I love that. Have you always, do you consider yourself a priest, a minister, a bishop?
No, absolutely not. No, I do think, my whole thing is I love. And so my ordained minister, you have to be, for whatever reason, you have to be an officiant to be able to officiate a wedding. In Michigan, there are laws regarding this. So I had to go and get that in order to do it. But I also get to conduct the weddings to the couple in my specifications. So I always meet with the couple in advance to figure out, are you super religious? Are there any traditions that you want to include in your ceremony? Do you want it super simple? How do you want it? Let's do it. And a lot of times the people who hire me, they just want something really cool, modern, and nothing too religious. Obviously, I feel like somebody who's super religious wouldn't hire me. So it's usually just really, really modern.
It comes across as more of a quote unquote new way of getting married.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally love it. I understand that marriage is supposed to be sanctified and in the eyes of God. And I get that. But also I like that we can incorporate other people and other things in it to fit our needs too. I mean, it's your wedding day. You want it to be the way that you want it.
Absolutely. Period.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
All right, Amber, let's get into some news. What's happening in the social media world?
Yeah, so there's a couple of really cool things happening right now. We'll start off with Instagram. Finally, the highly coveted feature of being able to repost through Instagram. So if you're not familiar right now, if you're scrolling down your feed and you see a post like, I really like this meme, I want to reshare it on my feed. There's not an easy way to do that. You have to either screenshot.
There isn't. I try to figure out. Don't mean to cut you off. I try to figure out.
That's what he meant to do.
What I see some posts and it's like, okay, that's cool. I want to repost it, but I can't figure it out. I don't know what to do. It's like you have to download this app or that app or whatever and go through this process. I was like, I give up, whatever.
Yeah, and now a lot of those apps are charging you to be able to repost the content. So then the workaround is to screenshot it and then, repost it as your own. But the problem with that is that the original creators are not getting credit for that. So I don't know what took Instagram so long, but finally they're rolling out an in-house or an in-app reshare option. So initially it will only be rolled out to a select few users. You know how they do. It's pretty exclusive at first, but eventually everyone should have the option to repost directly from Instagram, which I'm really excited about because, we're going to be able to share content easier, but also finally the original creator is going to be credited, which I think is super important.
Mm-hmm. Where will we be able to see this feature on Instagram? Is that part laid out yet? As far as where we go and how we can easily repost?
Yeah, so right where you're kind of at the top of your feed or of your grid, you'll see where you can click on the feed. You can click on your reels. There's a button for the photos and posts that you're tagged in. And right along that same line, there's going to be a button where all of your reposts can be seen and shared.
Okay.
Any word yet on what kind of a timeline are we looking at before it's available to everyone?
I have no idea when it's going to be available to everyone, but they are starting to roll it out to the select few users currently. So hopefully not too long.
Yeah, knowing Instagram, they'll probably have something like this available to everyone within the next month or so, probably even sooner, no telling.
Yeah. I just like to hear her telling us this because I can guarantee you I didn't know nothing about this. I mean, I don't know. I didn't know you couldn't repost or reshare.
You can, but as Amber alluded to, it's just so difficult.
Yeah. And right now you can share it to your story. So if you see a really cool post or a meme or somebody, tagged you in something, you can reshare it to your story, but then only people who are watching your story can see it and it isn't housed permanently on your grid. Mm-hmm. So you're limited on your share options. At least in that aspect, though, the original creator does get credited for it. And, when people click on your story to see that post, they go to the original poster's account. But that's not enough. We need the option to be able to reshare on our grid. So I'm excited about it.
It's your content.
Okay, so not to go down a dark hole, but do you think that Instagram is still as formidable as it was in the past from the sense of organic post? Do you still get the reach that you once did?
No, not at all. And I see this, I've seen this with my own account. I've used my own channels as a guinea pig a lot of the times to test out different things, but also, I work with a lot of different clients where I can test different theories out on their accounts as well. And what I've noticed across the board is that even with users who have hundreds of thousands of followers, we're seeing a reach at less than 10% of their followers. So less than 10%. And I mean, that's being very generous. Okay. So way less than 10% of their followers are actually even seeing their content, let alone, they might hit the explore page and get a few views or a little bit of reach from the explore page, or if they tag somebody, there's leveraging your connections and leveraging the tagging that can help you get exposure and reach. But at the end of the day, people follow you because they want to see your content. So why are less than 10% across the board seeing your content? That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense, Amber. And what's going on with that? And how long has this been a factor? Because I've noticed on even my own platforms, I pretty much use Instagram and Facebook, both owned by Meta, of course. But nevertheless, I'll have the same content on my Facebook work page and on my Instagram page, and I'm getting hundreds of more hits on my Facebook page compared to my Instagram.
Yes. Yep. I think that, a part of it too is is the community that you build up on Facebook. Facebook, the algorithm is obviously a little bit different, but also I think it's been far more interactive in a way that you can communicate. Like, people aren't really communicating in comments on Instagram for the most part, but people will full on have conversations in Facebook comments. And I think because of that continued interaction, it boosts the post back up. Every time it's interacted with, it boosts the post back up into the algorithm. So you're getting more reach. Whereas on Instagram, again, you know, if there's a ton of comments, that helps with the algorithm, but I just don't think it's as favorable as Facebook. On the other hand, Facebook is still the largest social media platform. It has the most users of any social media platform. So I think probably the manpower that goes into that algorithm and kind of how things work is probably a little bit more than maybe what they put into Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And at one point, it seemed, within the past few years, it seemed Facebook was kind of a dying breed. It was kind of like, or at the very least, being put on the back burner.
I don't know about that.
I think it did that since, like, people thought that it was for old people. It was for millennials and the boomers, and like, but But at the end of the day, I mean, Facebook has a purpose. In TikTok and Instagram and, you know, all of that, they function completely differently than Facebook. And I think Facebook has an advantage because of that. It's just the way that you operate on Facebook is different. And because of that, there's always going to be a need and a desire for it.
Yeah. You can also do more on Facebook compared to the other platforms.
Yeah, like right now, and even as far for businesses, especially if you're wanting to use a third-party app like Hootsuite or anything to create and schedule out content, you can't even schedule on Instagram, for instance. You can't even schedule a photo and a video on the same time in the same carousel. You have to pick. You can either do photos or you can do videos, but you can't do both. But if you were to do it in app, you could do them both. Where on Facebook, you can schedule them both, and it's like, why? And for the longest time, for many, many years, where you could schedule content out on like I used to use Sprinkler, I've used Hootsuite, I've used a ton of different things, and you were able to schedule posts on Facebook. But for Instagram, your content, once they gained the ability to actually schedule out content from a third-party app, you would still have to go in the app to approve the content. So if I'm, a social media manager for X company, and I schedule a post out for tomorrow at 3 p.m., and tomorrow at 3 p.m. comes, I have to stop everything I'm doing to go in the app and make sure the post gets scheduled.
Yep. Yeah.
And finally, now you can schedule in third-party apps on Instagram. But again, there's still limitations, and I don't know why that is, but it has always been several steps behind Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about that? Also with the algorithm, it seems like certain certain time periods throughout the day where your algorithm is at its peak, where that's probably for me, it's like from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. For whatever reason, that's how my algorithm operates, where I get more traction by my followers. You can see it on Instagram.
I always get a notification in Instagram, Josh Landon TV or something. it's just posted. I'm like, man, what is he doing? What is he doing? Because I can tell you, my Instagram activity is zero, nilch, nada. I stopped using the front side of these platforms like 2016, 17, and it was primarily exactly what Amber is saying. I noticed that there was a swing in the algorithms, and no matter how much I post, I just didn't get those followers. I wasn't getting the engagement. And so I made a conscious decision way long ago to stop really looking at the vanity metrics. I don't really care about the likes. I don't really care about the engagement. I just really care about building value for the client. Keeping in mind that we're talking from the perspective of business, right? If I'm a digital marketer and I'm working for X, Y, and Z company, or I'm trying to help you build your brand, I'm not necessarily in it in my mind, I don't necessarily do the long game. And I'm sure that maybe Amber does do a lot of that just from social media management. Did that years ago.
Okay.
I'm looking at more lead generation for the business. How can I get you a win today? So there's a little difference in the two.
And I think businesses want lead generation, but they also feel like, how can I get lead generation if I don't have 100,000 followers? Like, businesses, for the most part, especially the people who run businesses and don't have time to invest in their social, usually are really mesmerized by the vanity metrics.
Yeah, that's right. You're absolutely right. That's why I try to keep their attention off the vanity. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
right? Because someone will tell you in a second, I just spent $2,000 this month, and all you got was like 500 likes and 3 new followers. Well, we're not focused on that. I want to be the person, and again, this is a different strategy outside what many others may do. Mm-hmm. I'm the person that if you give me $1, I want to be able to show you strategically how I can make you $5, how we can make $10 on top of that $1. Mm-hmm. So that's always been the long game for me, especially after we started here at DSDT with our programs. I couldn't afford in the beginning to spend $30,000 on a local television broadcast, won't say it, right, in order to have ads run when I don't know what type of students I'm going to get back from that ad spend. $30,000 is a lot when you're talking about trying to invest in the marketing of your business, but you can't give me a definitive as to how much that $30,000 is going to make. But with these social platforms, if I put $30,000 into it, at the end of the month, I can look at the analytics and tell you exactly what converted into what and how much I actually made off the dollars invested. So that's a little bit different of, the game that I like to play more so than simply just the organic, posting and the feel good likes and blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying. All right, Amber.
Yes.
Twitter.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So we got couple of good updates from Twitter. So Twitter's finally enabling you or giving you the ability rather to edit your tweet, which I don't know why it took this long. Like, have you ever tweeted something that you were like, dang, you needed to edit? Just a quick edit. Listen, as a social media manager, I can't tell you how many times I've gone out on Twitter and I'm like, and then people see it and it's like, oh, it's too late. Oh my goodness. Like this is so needed.
Yeah.
So celebrated.
I agree. I'm sure that one of our former presidents wished that they would have had an edit button way back when. I'm just saying.
So many celebrities that have had their tweets, people have gone back and looked at their tweets from 2013 and pulled up stuff. I'm sure they wish they could go back and edit those or what have you. The kicker is, though, so Twitter's giving us the ability to edit our tweet, but only up to 5 times. So if you can't get it right after 5 times, then you might as well just delete it. Edit it anymore.
Sound like me. Sound like me. Yeah. All right. So, and there's another one also that's happening in the news with Twitter.
So I don't know how many people are familiar with Twitter Blue, but it is the paid version of Twitter. So it is a subscription-based Twitter. You pay, I think it's $4.99 a month, and you basically have premium features. There's a significant reduction in the amount of ads that you're subjected to, particularly when looking at different articles and things within the app. But the cool thing outside of that is if you are a Twitter Blue subscriber, they're rolling out podcasts. So there's actually going to be a new tab, much like the repost feature on Instagram. There's going to be a new tab or a space rather on Twitter where you can access podcasts and other types of media, I guess we'll say. So like different forms of media and podcasts and things like that, which is really exciting. But again, this is a paid subscription service. So not regular Twitter.
Wait, so what do you? Okay, so I'm just trying to gauge. So, how much more do you get with Twitter Blue versus regular Twitter?
Right, exactly. Because I didn't even know there was a Twitter Blue.
I heard something about it maybe last week. We ran a quick little snippet on it on the news. But yeah, Amber, if you can elaborate a little bit more on just. What more do you get?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I wish I could go way in depth with you guys, but I've never been a big Twitter person, and I don't.
I'm with you there. I do it for work and work only.
But one of the advantages before the rollout of the editable tweets on Twitter is that Twitter Blue, you could edit your tweets. So that was one of the perks. And obviously now they're rolling out the Spaces area where you have access to podcasts that are specifically only on Twitter Blue. So, and then the, reduction of ads. So there are like many perks and features that just make the user experience better. Something that I guess people who are most engaged on Twitter would really appreciate. It's like the elite.
Okay, I follow you. Forgive me. I follow you now. And with podcasts being on Twitter Blue, I guess it would be a little bit more accessible, easier to enjoy a podcast depending on what you're looking for right there on Twitter Blue versus going to this particular app or this section, going wherever. You're already on Twitter. Some podcasts, beep, just one click away, quote unquote.
But Amber, do you see this as really being a game changer for Twitter, or is it almost as if they're late to the party, right? Because there's so many other platforms that you can get podcasts on.
Nope. I think that Twitter has a diehard base. I think people that are like really engaged on Twitter. And I mean, the platforms rolled out. Twitter Blue has been going. People are paying for it. My husband's he uses Twitter Blue, so I'm like, it worked. But he's also, I'm like, in the athletic space, in the sports space, they are on Twitter like crazy. So it makes sense, and they want to have that kind of elite Twitter experience, not deal with the ads, be able to edit their tweets, and have access to other perks that you don't get with regular Twitter.
Okay, fair enough.
You get like whole separate support. Like if you need customer support and things like that, for whatever reason, it's a whole separate support system. So there are advantages. It's like, having a special MGM whatever membership or something to like Marriott Rewards. It's kind of like that. It's like you have like this elite level of service.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I pay for YouTube Premium, and I promise you,
I love not having any ads. It is a beautiful thing. I pay what, $15.99, whatever. Yeah.
So if I was I'm not as big on Twitter as I once was. So probably I would be willing to spend $5 for X, Y, and Z. I would.
Yeah.
So, but it's neither here nor there. Thank you, Amber. So if someone was watching this podcast later on or listening to it, can you tell them where you would
can we find you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so if you type in Get Real with AB on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, you will find me. As a matter of fact, I think you might find me on Twitter, but you ain't going to find much because, like I said, I'm not really on Twitter like that. I find fun stuff on all the other platforms.
You said I'm not on Twitter like that.
No,
all right. Well, we definitely want to appreciate you for taking our time today to come and give us some updates on this news, because I can guarantee you Josh and I don't know what's happening in all the spaces. And
so much to cover.
Right. And he's Mr. News around here, and there's still things that he doesn't know.
It's like, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we appreciate you, and we definitely look forward to having you back to enlighten us some more about what's happening in the industry. Again, everybody, this is Miss Amber Boone, correct?
Yes, Amber Boone.
And she is. And for those of you that are looking to get married soon, remember, you can get in contact with Mrs. Boone, and her information is
Get
Real with AB.
And if you need to buy a house or sell your house, you can call me for that too.
All right.
Okay.
I've sold more houses than
Hey, thank you, Amber, and we look forward to speaking to you again, okay?
Love it.
Oh, man.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah. I didn't know about the Twitter Blue. I didn't know that Instagram didn't have a reshare.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. I don't use those platforms as much as I used to, so a lot of mine is just going on and just scrolling. Now I'll spend hours just scrolling,
but not posting.
No, not like a. Can I tell y'all a story?
Go for it. Go for it.
Story. I got in trouble a few weeks ago making a post. It was an accidental post. And I really have to admit that it kind of made me look at the content that I post more frequently. So I got stuff on my device right now that I should have posted days ago, but I've been I need to chill. So it's like, once you have an accident where it's also real and it perhaps has harmed someone close to you, then it makes you kind of take a look at, well, I need to chill out with some of this. And I'm the guy that I film everything, right? I film everything. I'm posting, and I love to, update my community about what Carlos has going on. I look at it as if it's kind of like your, bibliography to a degree. You're keeping a digital footprint of your everyday experiences for those years to come. And, but sometimes those posts can become somewhat of a distraction, and they can, not be the most beneficial thing for you. So I have to take inventory now of some of the posts that I make. So I haven't really made a lot of posts here recently, but again, in the wee hours of the morning, I spend 2, sometimes maybe even 3 hours just strolling. So, but I would think that that's another form or a new way for us to get our information. And I was thinking about that. I remember as a kid having a newspaper route, driving around, on a bicycle, throwing those papers, and you don't see that anymore. And this here has to be the newspaper. And every day, not only am I getting the news as it's told to me from the journalist standpoint, but I'm getting it from everybody who posts that intimate information. Whether it be, friends, family, enemies, I'm getting all that information, and it's, it really is time consuming once you think about it. Because again, I spend hours upon hours just strolling. I know you don't have time to do that, Josh. I know you don't have time to.
We make it work.
Yeah, right. Because it's like you fall down that rabbit hole, and it's like, next thing you know, you've been looking at this thing for an hour or so, and it's like, wow, and it's just so much information to consume. So, but anyways.
Oh yeah. Let's get into a little bit more about these courses we mentioned earlier in the podcast about that are starting up on Monday, the 19th of September.
Okay, so right now we want to actually bring on our instructor.
Yes.
So Mr. Eric Ladendorf is a new instructor with the digital marketing program, and he's going to come on to explain to us all these great and wonderful things that I believe the digital marketing program has to offer, as well as why students should actually enroll. So why don't we just go ahead and take a moment to welcome Mr. Eric Ladendorf.
Hello.
What's going on, Eric? How are you?
How's it going? I am doing fantastic today. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Happy to have you on. So let's tell the folks a little bit more about who you are.
Well, I am also a content creator. I do digital marketing. Well, I've been doing digital marketing for the last, I would say, about 12 years. I've been creating content in the audio space, recording studios, and then doing film, done some commercial work, some print work. And I've been out in industry, working with clients, working with, different products and things, and helping people get their message out there. And this is really cool that we can kind of pass this on. So that's what I am. I'm a digital creator.
Digital creator, love it. All right, so we were talking about earlier the new courses that are starting up here at DSDT on Monday.
Yeah.
What are they? What can people gain from them? Break it all down for us.
Well, we're doing quite a bit right now, and it makes sense because if you were to look at digital marketing is such a vague term. It's an umbrella term. It houses a lot of different aspects. So we have a lot of different parts of the courses and courses that we teach. So I would say probably the one I'm doing right now I can start with, and it is right now we're doing a writing course, which is called copywriting. And copywriting is a little different than your normal writing course. It's more of getting your message across clearly, using plain English, trying to find the right way to say things, because you're going to be representing a client, a company, sometimes small, sometimes big. It doesn't matter. You want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward, and that's what this class does. It helps you get a baseline of how to write down your thoughts, how to convey something, and really put something out there in a very professional, business-like manner and get people's attention. So that's the first class. That's the one I'm doing right now.
Is copywriting really important? I'm just asking for a friend who needs to know.
I'm going to tell you, copywriting is incredibly important. When you start off with, like when I work for clients, generally speaking, you're going to do copywriting first. That's the first thing people are going to want you to do. When you get in with a team, they have an established product, or they have a website, or they have their own pictures and things like that, you're generally going to be reposting their existing content, or maybe modifying it, or even putting out your own. You have to be able to put down a description, find different ways to talk for the customer and for the product. So that's really the foot in the door to getting into content creation, is being able to actually say what it is. And really, can you make anything before you come up with that? If you don't know what the product is, and if you can't explain it, or any business, then you shouldn't have been doing it in the first place. So yeah, it's very, very important.
Okay, so this is why I got all the smart people around me, right? He is a great talent.
Yes.
Let me dumb it all the way down for the people that are like me. All right. The number one reason that I felt it necessary to have a copywriting class in digital marketing was because, from my experience as a social media manager, and I'm just going to say it the way only Carlos can say it, right?
No, it's perfect.
I just so many times we as adults don't know where periods go.
Grammar.
We don't know where question marks go.
Yeah.
Right? We just don't know. And I'm not going to just say that for lack of whatever the reason.
It takes away from it takes away the strength of your post, your content.
Absolutely.
When you don't use proper grammar.
Listen, do you guys know this lady named Jamie Harris? I'm just asking. Does anybody know does anybody know Jamie Harris? Jamie Harris is world's greatest grammarian. I mean, she'll, if I go home later tonight, she'll say, well, you shouldn't have used that way, right? And but because of that, I know that when we're working with clients, whether it be branding or whatever the case may be, we want to make sure that information comes across in the written form as professional as possible.
Yes.
Right? And so often we're so used to writing the way that we speak. And it's just a run-on sentence.
You can do that, but then also it's a good way to be mindful of speaking grammatically correct as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like as you're speaking, make sure you're using a complete thought per sentence.
Yeah. I guess.
Know where the period goes as you're saying your message.
Absolutely. He's
but
right.
There is a different way. You write differently than you speak. It's kind of a different language in a way. You wouldn't talk to your friends the way you would, put together a post. Let's say you're working for, an automotive dealer, and you're going to, tell your best friend about a car. Hey man, check out this awesome car that I saw. You wouldn't put that on there, up on their post or, their commercial, anything like that.
It depends on the content. As a commercial, you would write the way you speak. What I do every day, you write the way you speak because you have to make it conversational. You just have to, because if you write an AP style or an essay style, who really speaks in that fashion?
I was
trip up all over the place.
Jamie Harris speaks that way. I'm just
No, you're right. So the thing is though, you don't want to talk like you're a college professor or a rocket scientist, but you also don't want to bring it down too low either. You need to know who your audience is, who your baseline, who's going to buy the product. And it doesn't necessarily go through your voice. It has to go through what's the most appropriate for who your market is. And like your market, you're selling yourself in what you do. You need to talk like you. But if you were to sell something that isn't yours, it isn't your
a product.
Your product, I mean, then you're going to have to go and look at that product, look who the client base is, and look at, actually the business and their culture. Those are really important things. So what's really interesting, and Carlos kind of started saying this, is that when you bring up grammar, and a lot of the people that I have, some of the students are actually older than I am, which is amazing. I'm ancient. But the cool part about this is they're all telling me, wow, I learned that in school. I already know that, but I forgot about it. And boom. So we're going over things that you probably already know, but this will just refresh it. So you're hot to go into that job or that situation or work on that project with a little more knowledge. And the cool part about, I think about this course is, back when I started out, this was my weak point. I had to work so hard to put this together, to actually be able to write copies, to put together, bios and write in a professional fashion. And there are a lot of incredible tools out there that can aid you and help you get to where you want to be. And we teach those tools, those hacks, and we get you to the point where you're relying on all these wonderful things that you already probably use, but you don't know you could use it for this, and really put it out there and make you the best you can be at this.
It's almost it's a good way to keep your feet wet, to give you a refresher course.
That's what it is,
Yeah.
because you probably already know this stuff. It's awesome watching people.
Eric,
Yeah.
you can. I just want to say, it's been a while. You deserve that, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely deserve that. He breaks down to me just the exact reason as to why the program is set up the way that it is. Now, there is information that those that enroll into it, they may know, but at the same time, it is a refresher, and it's so important. It's important. Keep in mind that the very reason that we even have these classes is so that we can place you at the end. We want to place you in an employment opportunity. And if you say, well, Carlos, I'm a creator and I really want to do this digital marketing thing, well, the end goal is to get you a job. And we need you to set you up for winning from week one. Week one, you need to be reminded about the periods and the commas and the tools that you may not know. Grammarly, how to use whatever it is in order to make sure that your writing is as perfect as it can be, so that you don't get ousted. True story. I remember. I don't know why. I do this, right? But I can remember when I was a manager at a janitorial company when I was 23 years old, and it was out in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And I remember my supervisor telling me that when I was going through the applications, if they did not spell blah 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 right, to throw it in the trash.
There's a perception that if you do not use proper grammar, you really don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
It makes you very questionable.
Yeah.
Therefore, an agency, organization, an institution isn't willing to do business with you.
Well, I can tell you right now, I ain't never known what I was talking about. I'm just saying.
That was like a double or triple negative just now.
I ain't nobody. I don't know, man. I'm just saying.
Love it.
Listen. Steve Harvey tells the story. Steve Harvey said that when he was about to do, I think, his Family Feud, he said that they wanted to bring him in a linguist. And they were trying to teach him, how to get away from that Southern drawl. And he says, well, I'm not doing it. And they was like, well, you have to do it, because in order to be able to do this, he was like, listen, what sounds better? I am broke, or I'm finna be rich. What sounds better?
You have to go with the latter on that one. You have to go with the latter, for sure.
I'm finna be rich.
Steve Harvey made an excellent point. But then also, in that particular situation, Steve Harvey was already established as a personality.
Yeah.
You want that Southern drawl because that's part of who he is.
Correct.
It's part of his brand.
Yeah.
Therefore, if he goes on this game show and says, "Hi, I am Steve Harvey. Welcome to this game show," you're going to say, "What in the world is going on?"
Ed McMahon, I'm straight.
You can't do it.
Right.
So there's always an exception to the rule.
Right.
But before you get to that point, you do have to keep some things standard.
Yeah, but again, we're talking about individuals that we're training to work for other individuals.
Yes,
or maybe,
selling their product, not
Absolutely.
your own, as Eric alluded to. Okay,
Right.
when you're providing information, you're speaking in your voice. When you're selling your brand, your product, you're speaking in your voice. However, when you're selling someone else's brand, product, etc., you have to speak more so in their voice.
Correct.
It's their message. You're working for them.
Yep. So, Eric, can you give us a little synopsis or a breakdown of the program and the direction that you see it heading in?
So yeah, I can totally do that for you. I'm going to give a little bit of an example about my background and how this might actually help explain the way this program works. So when I originally went to school, I went to school for audio recording, audio engineering, and production. Got out of school, all the recording studios were closed. Boom, done. So I thought it was over. Then I started working on film sets, started working on commercials. And I got hired for another job. And then I had to learn how to do graphic design. I was like, oh my gosh, I got to do this now too. And then I got hired for another job and had to figure out how to work and do put all these different parts together, and then maybe do some promoting and do some analytics when it comes to Facebook or any of the other social media platforms I was working with. So there's all these things that, as you snowball, if you want to keep working in this field, you have to learn. All these things come together to make that umbrella I was telling you about of digital marketing. And that's what we're doing here. We're not just teaching you the one aspect. We're making you a Swiss Army knife to do all things, because really a lot of us that do this job are the person in that company. Sometimes we'll be part of a group, sometimes we'll be kind of specialized, but you have to know a little bit of everything. So we're going to do content creation. Content creation has your audio involved, so you're going to learn some audio, my original expertise, and then you're going to go into stuff like video. You're going to do your audio video, so you're going to do podcasts, vlogs, things like that, and start learning a little bit about that. But it doesn't stop just at that. Once we get out of content creation, then you're going to do things like making graphics in the graphic design class, where you're going to be working with Illustrator and Photoshop. So you see how it's kind of going. It goes from, okay, so we are making the video or picture or whatever piece of content that we're doing at this point. Then we're going and creating the graphics for it, right? There's a snowball. And then we're going to the next part, and then we're putting together a website for it. And we're learning how to market it and promote it. And then we're putting our copy that we learned at the very beginning, because we have to know what the product is at the beginning to make the copy, right? And then we take it at the end and finish it up. And you get a sandwich, you get one fully packed product that you can put out. By the time you're done, it'll make you an asset to any company that needs somebody who does this stuff. So I think that's really cool.
As we gear up for a new wave of classes, Eric, just for the courses that people are about to embark on, what should be the mindset, the drive? I mean, just kind of give us a synopsis, a summary of what is about to come.
Okay, so you got to keep an open mind. Like I said, there's a lot of gears involved, okay? But you also have to be willing to change with how quickly technology works. Because every day I wake up, like you guys were talking about with our first guest, there is a change when it comes to my industry and our industry. It is constantly moving, constantly evolving. So sometimes you have to amend the stuff you learn and be able to be, a little bit elastic. So as far as going into a program like this and gearing up, to keep an open mind and just be ready to adapt and move forward and get excited, because this is probably, in my opinion, the most exciting thing you can get into as far as profession, other than jumping from an airplane or maybe putting out fires. Every day I get to make new stuff and show people things, and actually some of the clients I've worked with have been really cool. And I'm sure that if you guys out there start doing this a lot, you're going to start meeting some really cool clients, working some good projects and influencers and doing all sorts of things. You'll never feel like you're working ever again. It's pretty cool.
And that is the blessing right there, when it's fun.
That's right. That's right.
It doesn't feel like work.
Hey, Eric.
Yeah.
You can.
I got to get one of these. That's amazing. That does that. That's incredible.
Love it. Yes.
Listen, I want to say thank you for taking out a moment. I know you have to get ready for your upcoming class. Definitively, if there was one thing that you could close with in order to make that person on the other side of the screen at some point who's going to be watching this video make a decision as to enrolling into the digital marketing program that you're spearheading right now, what would that one thing be?
Well, first off, one thing. This is really hard to do. It doesn't matter how old you are, you can do this. Young or old, it doesn't make a difference. You can create something as your job. You can make things, and make changes and do something really, really fun. It doesn't matter if you're getting out of high school or if you're, in your 70s it just depends on how your sense of adventure is. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys do out there.
Well put, Eric. Well put. Well, thank you. We know you have to get to work with your courses. Have a good evening, man. And I'm sure Carlos will have you back on here soon enough.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, guys.
You too, Eric. Thank you. Great show. Eric providing a lot of good information with the new courses here at DSDT. I really like Amber.
Yeah,
that was dope. just an additional vibe, giving us more insight into the social media world. Good stuff.
Absolutely. I think that she's definitely going to be a great adaptation because she's already taught me some things that I didn't know. And that's the whole purpose of this show, to inform our community, about some of the things that are going on within technology. But then we're starting to get into some of those conversations, those taboo topics, if you will, that we all need to be made aware of. So definitely good show, good stuff.
All right. Well, that will do it for us. You are?
I'm just Carlos.
You're just Carlos.
This week, I'm just Carlos.
This week, you're just Carlos.
Just Carlos.
I'll stay with being just Josh. That will do it for the Tech School Podcast powered by DSDT. See ya.